video starts now! Hi guys, it's Nick from Kicking Goals, and in this video today I'm going to review my round 19 footy tips and I'm going to do my round 20 footy tips. So let's get underway, and before I do all of that, I apologise for not doing any videos for a few months. I had some personal things that I had to deal with, and I know that's taken a few months, but I'm back and I'm going to do more videos now, so stay tuned. So, and this week I'm going to Melbourne. I'm catching up with Studi and spending most of the weekend with him, and I'm going to 3 games with him and do a couple of other stuff as well. But I might talk about that in a community post or something. So I'm going to review my round 19 footy tips. I've got 5 out of 9. I'm leading in my footy tipping comp, and the person who got the most tips for the week was Cousin Dupree with 8 out of 9. So well done, Cousin Dupree. So the first match is between Carlton and Port Adelaide. Carlton had a gutsy 19-point win over North Melbourne. I was a bit worried during the game. I thought we were going to lose our 3rd consecutive game against North Melbourne out of all teams, but we didn't. We responded in the second half, and Charlie Curnow and Harry McKay both dominated and kicking a handful between them. Cripps and Walsh played well once again as well, and Adam Sard played well as well. And yeah, we just managed to hold on to a gutsy 19-point win, and we go back to 2nd spot on a ladder. Port Adelaide, they had a solid 40+ point win against Richmond. They were nervous for 3 quarters. They were playing uncomfortable for 3 quarters, but in the last quarter they got away with it. With Charlie Dixon being in good form again with 4 goals, Connor Rosie, Zach Butters, Ollie Wines, Travis Boak, they were all in good form as well. They all played well. So yeah, this is going to be a good game, I reckon. So I'm going to tip Carlton to win by 16 points. Next match is between North Melbourne and Geelong in Tasmania. North Melbourne had a gutsy 19-point loss against Carlton. They played well for 3 and a bit quarters. They just ran out of legs near the end. Like Harry Sheezel, he's going to be an absolute star in the making in years to come. Like, he's a rising star winner. He'll probably get the 3 votes this week. Liam Shields played well as a sub. North, they've got a bright future, but they'll still maybe at least a couple more years until they make finals yet. And with Geelong, well, they had a disappointing loss against the Bulldogs. Jezza Cameron played like shit. Dangerfield didn't play that well either. Stengel didn't do his best either, and yeah, Geelong just couldn't get their hands on the football at times. And plus, it doesn't help when it's all muddy and wet. So, I reckon Geelong will bounce back here, because it's only against North Melbourne. And I reckon Geelong should win by 45 points. Next game is between Gold Coast and the Brisbane Lions, the Q Clash. The Gold Coast Suns had a 39-point loss against GWS. None of their players played that great, really. Ben King was quiet. He was goalless. Pathetic game. And with Brisbane, they had a wonderful 2-point win over the Sydney Swans, the top team. And they're getting back into some great form, Brisbane, Getting back into the top 4, like they did last year, Getting back to last year's form after a really bad start to the season. And they're getting back on track now, Brisbane. And who knows, there could be a threat come to September. So I reckon Gold Coast will get their first loss at home this weekend, in the Q Clash. So I'm going to tip the Lions to win by 23 points. So the fourth match is between St Kilda and Essendon. Another match I'm going to. St Kilda had a wonderful 72-point win over West Coast. Like, Tim Emery was good, kicking 5 goals. Jack Still at his best with over 30 disposals. Bradley Hill played well in his 250th game. Mason Wood played well as well. He kicked 3 goals 4. Could have been 7 goals if he kicked straighter, Mason Wood. But it didn't matter in the end. And Essendon, well, they had a big chance of winning against Adelaide and they blew it. In fact, they conceded the last 3 goals of the game with that Rochelle goal in the last minute of the game. Yeah, so Essendon, they've been disappointing me lately, but I knew they were going to fuck up because they always do. Some people, especially the Essendon supporters, they always say, oh, they're going to win the premiership this year, but they're almost out of the 8 now. They're 8th position now because of those losses, and I told them they're going to fuck up, and that's what they're doing. So Essendon fans have gone quiet, but I have to tip them this week, Essendon, to win by 11 points, because I just think they'll bounce back for this game. Now, the next game is between Melbourne and GWS. Melbourne had a horrible loss against Fremantle. That they weren't up to it. They kicked a few goals at 3/4 time to, cut the margin to 30 points, but it just wasn't good enough because Fremantle got away with it in the last quarter. And it's hard without Max Gawn and Christian Petrarca out with injury. And with GWS, they had a comfortable 39-point win with Jesse Hogan kicking 4 goals and Brent Daniels playing well as well. So I reckon I'm going to take the chance and I'm going to tip Melbourne to win by 2 points in this game. Because GWS, they don't do that great at MCG. I mean, they have won a few games there, but at times the pressure gets to them. So I'm going to tip Melbourne in this one by 2. So the 6th game is going to be between Fremantle and West Coast at Optus Stadium, the Western Derby. Fremantle had a great win against Melbourne on the weekend. They're doing well. They're in 4th position now on the ladder, with Stower and Sonny Walters kicking 4 each. With Sonny Walters, he's playing well of age. I don't think he's going to retire anytime soon. He's been a really good player for Fremantle over the years. One of their best players, I reckon. Brayshaw and Sarong played really well in the midfield. Yeah, so Fremantle will be one of the teams to look out for coming towards September if they're good enough to get there. West Coast, well, they had a disappointing loss against St Kilda. They played horribly. Harley Reid was playing like shithouse, and their forward line was pretty pathetic. Oscar Allen only kicked 2 goals, but I reckon in this game Fremantle should have another comfortable win, and they should win by 35 points. Now the next match is between Collingwood and Richmond, and that's the last match I'm going to for the weekend, and it's at the MCG. Collingwood, well, they got flogged by Hawthorn by 60 plus points, and Richmond, well, they played well for 3/4 against Port Adelaide, but in the last quarter they just went to sleep and didn't seem to be getting any of the ball in the last quarter. But I reckon Richmond, in this game against Collingwood, I reckon they're going to put up a really good fight, but Collingwood, I know their season might be pretty much over, but I reckon Collingwood will get a consolation win and they'll probably beat Richmond by 17 points since Richmond are on the bottom of the ladder. Second last game of the weekend is going to be between Sydney and the Western Bulldogs at the SCG. Sydney had a disappointing 2-point loss against Brisbane at the Gabba, and they had some injury worries, like Tom Papley got injured, Dane Rampy also got injured as well, and Callum Mills got injured last week in his return game, so his return didn't last long. And with the Western Bulldogs, they had a fantastic win, away from home. They had a fantastic win at the Cattery for the second time in a row. They won by around 50 points against Geelong, and with Adam Jalor playing fantastic. Bontempelli doing his bits and pieces. Jamarra Ugle-Hagan continuing his career best form. He kicked 4 goals, had 20 plus disposals. He was just brilliant. But since it's at SCG, I'm going to tip Sydney to win by 3 points. I reckon they'll bounce back, but only just. And the final match of the weekend is going to be between Adelaide and Hawthorn at the Adelaide Oval. Adelaide had a fantastic win over the Bombers, like with that Jack Rochelle goal in the last minute. Ben Keys had a career best night with kicking 5 goals. He was fantastic. I watched that game and he was just everywhere. Fogarty was also good as well. He kicked 4 goals. And with Hawthorn, they had a fantastic win over Collingwood by 60 plus points. Jack Giverman kicking 2 nice goals against his old team that he won the premiership with last year. Luke Bruce kicked 4 goals, returning to his best. He's been one of Hawthorn's best players over the past decade. He's had a good career and he could be playing on next year, which would be good. Nick Watson played well as well, and Mavia Chol played well too. He kicked a couple goals in the last quarter. He could have had like 4 or 5 goals if he was kicking more accurately, but it didn't matter in the end because Hawthorn destroyed them, and they're looking really promising in the future. Like Sam Mitchell's had a great year so far. Like after Hawthorn losing their first 5 games of the year, they've really got themselves into playing finals this year if they're good enough. So I'm going to tip Hawthorn this week, and they're going to win by 12 points, I reckon. So thank you all for watching this video, guys. I'm glad to be back on YouTube, and I'll do my best to continue on with the content and be more active on YouTube. So please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Catch you guys, and up the Blues.